What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of World War Minecraft, and it's been a little while since our last video. We've been streaming it a lot, but we haven't gotten around to actually recording videos because I didn't really want to kill you guys with some repetitive stuff. Skelly's currently working on the base a little bit, getting things changed up. Even if you watch the live stream, you're going to notice that the base has gone through, I don't know, 6 or 7 facelifts. So this is probably going to be one of the final facelifts. We've changed the front, we got rid of some of the trees. We will be putting some of the trees back, just not quite on the same level. We do still have the troll doors down here. And I do apologize for the low frame rate. I think that is my hard drive that is chugging. Yeah, hard drive is not very happy with me today. It's funny, I usually get like 120 frames a second when I'm not streaming and I'm not recording. Today I'm streaming and recording, and we're in the low 20s. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. All right, so I'm going to show you guys kind of a two-part setup for this. This over here is Engineer's Toolbox. Oh, I got to fix the, there we go. Walla should be showing up now. Okay, Walla may have been showing up before. There we go, Walla's showing up. I'll explain what these machines are right here and what all these numbers and things like that mean. For now, we're going to head downstairs real quick, and I'm going to show you guys some of the changes. First off, Skelly just got redone changing this room up here. It looks a little different. The reason we changed it is the micro blocks cause a lot of lag. Riley was a big fan of micro blocks. We tried changing it up, and this is supposed to increase the frame rate a little bit. I didn't really notice a problem, but as you guys can see, I am kind of chugging right now, so I don't know. It's a little beyond me. So this is our new little building here. It's interesting. She chose limestone bricks to build all this with. We are going to keep this room the way it is. This right here is a kiln. It is a kiln. It is one of the things that you need for this setup in Engineer's Toolbox. It is an eMasher resource. To get limestone, to get the limestone bricks, you just need some limestone from eMasher. You do the 4th thing and you make your little bricks. At least I think so. Yeah, just normal limestone. There you go. I'll give you 4. You need to have a 3x3 base on the bottom. The center can be hollow, so you don't necessarily have to have that. You need a socket. That's what they're called. And then on the front, you need to have a kiln. So you just make the kiln. Kiln looks like this. Looks like this little monster here. Just some blaze rods, some nickel, a nickel block or a ferrous block. You need a blank module, which is pretty easy. Just requires some of those. You can either use aluminum or tin plus some gold to make these casings. I think that's everything there. And then this little part, the little power supplies, they are just lead surrounded by redstone, gold, or you can use nether quartz. Either one's option. I believe there's a couple other recipes in here you can play around with. Anyways, it's going to give you a little, like a little tin flap or something like that. You face the side that you want. For this instance, we want the kiln to be on the inside, so you just right-click there. And then on the back, we have an energy input. Now you're going to notice with this Engineer's Toolbox, that you basically make these little generic blocks and then you slap things on different sides. So you have 6 sides that you can mess with. You have an energy input, energy indicate. With the energy input, it's just another blank module with 2 gold nuggets or 2 copper ingots, whichever you like. And then you just connect it up with thermal expansion here, and it's got power. It has an internal storage of 5,000 RF. I don't know how much power a ticket requires. I don't believe it's much. We've got an energy cell on here that we've used a few times to test. And then down below, we have the hopper that's feeding into a chest. And this right here is quicklime. Now I'm going to show you guys what quicklime is used for after we get this set up first. So up here on the top, we have another Engineer's Toolbox modular socket. This one's a little bit more complicated, and we're going to kind of go into some of this here in a minute. But you can see right here that we have a grinder. Now the grinder, what that basically does is, think of it like a pulverizer. It just crushes shit down, and then you can do stuff with whatever it crushes. We've got the energy input on the side, and then on the back we have an item extractor, and then out here on the west we've got a machine output. Now you're going to notice a lot of numbers here. Now to get these numbers you need a socket remote, which is right here. Hopefully, I guess we'll just look it up then since it's not working for me. Socket remote, it's just an ender pearl, another blank module, and a control circuit, which again, pretty cheap. That's going to allow you to interact with this machine, and then you can right-click on it and kind of change your inputs and such. So right over here, energy input, it's just an input. We don't necessarily need a number for that. Machine output, what we've got is we've got it outputting into an autonomous activator, and if you look on here, you can see that the autonomous activator is accepting from there. The grinder is set to a 0. Now we can change that to anything we want. We're going to leave it at 0 though, because 0 is basically, in this instance, we're talking about the internal input. So we have an item extractor on the back, which is going to be yanking from this chest. You'll notice that is also 0 because it's yanking from the chest and putting in the internal inventory. The grinder is then taking from that internal inventory, grinding it up, and then it is creating a new item, which we're putting in inventory 1, and that's exporting it out through the machine output. It sounds complicated, and in all honesty, it is a little complicated. You just kind of have to think, where am I taking things? Where am I putting them? And at what point do I want these things to work together? So since we're taking from a chest and we want that chest to be ground, we keep it as the same input. We're then creating a new item, which is ground, which is a different item, and we're pushing that to a different output, thus different numbers. I'm hoping that makes sense. Anyways, once that hits the autonomous activator, it's going to drop down. So I'm going to show you guys how this works. We're going to go ahead and fill this up with limestone. Now this is just generic limestone from a master's resource. If you're on World War Minecraft, our server, you're going to notice that there's a lot of different types of limestone. It has to be the Amasher one. I'm going to try and see if maybe there's a way we can maybe make the other limestones compatible somehow with maybe like a conversion process or something. I got to talk to Lim about that and see. The only problem with that is limestone, the other limestones are rather abundant, so it might cause a problem. So we kind of got to be careful with that, but we'll see. We'll see. Limestone may not be an issue, and I may just be being stupid. We'll see. But you can see this thing is dropping over and over again inside, and you can see down here that the stuff drops down. It sits on top of the hopper and then in front of the kiln, and then the kiln heats it up, and then every like 10-20 seconds it's going to drop down and do its thing. Now I haven't told you guys about the kiln. There you go, you saw the process where it drops. One thing to be careful with the kiln, like I said, you need a 3x3 base with the center hollow. The center is hollow all the way up, and then you need 7 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of this is limestone. I've knocked out these 4 sides here. I don't believe you necessarily have to have these 4 sides knocked out. You can put something in them if you want. You can put glass in them if you want, or you can put another socket in there for whatever reason. It's up to you. You do just have to have the sides knocked out. Now when you make this thing, it may not immediately create. It's not like some of the other multi-block structures. It's on a 20-second timer. So if it doesn't work, don't just like, fuck, you know, and immediately break it and try and mess around with it and try and make it work. Give it a few minutes. You know, give it like, well, not a few minutes. Give it 30, 40 seconds. If it turns, great. If it doesn't, tweak it a little bit. So once again, 3x3 base with the center hollow all the way up. The 1 tier above that, you need to have your kiln. I've knocked the little 4 holes in the side, and then it's 7 blocks tall. So hopefully that kind of explains that. So this is automated. We're going to run a ME cable to this box here to deposit all limestone we get. And then down here, which we'll run to real quick, you can see that we're getting some quick lime down here. I don't know why it's not stacking. There we go. You'll get some quick lime here. You end up with 2 to 3 supposedly per piece of limestone. So kind of a nice setup. I'm going to let that do its thing. We have 16. 16 is going to be enough for us to kind of showcase what we want to do from here. Now the rest of this setup here, this is the part where you quadruple or more your ores. I believe it can be more than quadruple, I believe Skelly said, but quadrupling is kind of what you're aiming for. So let's go ahead and grab some iron. We're going to grab, oh, I thought we had some iron ore. We may have already processed our iron ore. Let's grab something else that's generic. Copper ores from metallurgy. I don't know if that'll work. Well, shit. Did he already process all of our ores? He may have, and if he has, then we may just have to play around with it. I think copper will work. I'm hoping. We'll find out here in a minute. It says Metallurgy 3 vanilla, so I'm hoping it will work. Okay, so let's talk about this setup over here. Now, first off, this chest in the back, this is where I'm going to put the quicklime. You can see that it was immediately taken out. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Let's just talk about the 4 machines. Now, first off, you've got 4 sockets here, or 4 modular sockets. These things can be picked up and they can be removed, and they will remember their sockets. So if I shift right click this, you're gonna see it's gonna pop away. I can then simply put it right back and it's good. And it maintains all of its faceplates. If you want to pull one of the faceplates out, you simply right click on it with this and it will pop that faceplate out, and then you can replace the faceplate. So let's go over what these 4 machines are and what each of them does. So first off, you have your grinder. That's basically the same machine that we had back up there on top of the kiln. It grinds, it turns it into, it's kind of like a pulverizer. That then goes into the multi-smelter. The multi-smelter is where the quicklime goes. And you're going to notice the multi-smelter has 2 inventories. We'll talk about that here in a second. This is where the quicklime and what was ground up in the grinder is combined. Then over here, we have the centrifuge, which kind of spins it around and, I guess, divides it up or whatever, splits it into some other process. And then finally... Cleans it up. And then finally over here, you have the furnace where the final product is, smelted, basically. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to come over here real quick and we're going to grab a quick chest. Hopefully I've got one. Yep, we have a gold chest. This is obviously going to be overkill, but it'll work for what we need to do. So we're going to put our chest right here. So let's go over the configuration of this. We have our power on the bottom, so that's going to be the energy input you see there. On the far right over here, we have our item extractor. Item extractor just takes whatever inventory slot that you've got there and extracts something from it. So let me go ahead and grab one more chest just so we can showcase that. We'll just make a vanilla chest for now. We don't need anything too large. Eventually we could set this all up with, what do you call it, an ME system and just export and import, etc., etc. But for now, we're just going to put the copper ore in here. You're going to notice that the inventory interface on top, that's this little thing right here, that is set to interface 0. The item extractor is set to 0, and the grinder is set to 0. That's because that's all basically the same interface. We're taking from this chest, we're grinding what we take from that chest, and we want to display at the top of the chest what we're doing. Then, once we've ground it, we're sending that through the machine output. That is a different thing. It's on 1. So once that gets over here, again, the inventory interface is 1. The multi-smelter is 1. The item input is 1. So that's pulling from this machine's 1, and it's making its own 1. The multi-smelter is 0, and that's a blue 0. You're going to notice on the front of this display how it kind of has a multiple line where only this one has 1. The reason we have that is we're pulling also from the back here. We're pulling from the back. That's the item extractor on the back where it says 0. We're yanking that out from the back, and then we're combining it with 1, which we took from machine on the right. That's going to grind up and do its thing, and then it makes a additional resource, which is the machine output, number 2, which spits over here. Now this is the confusing part. You're going to notice right over here, the inventory interface is 0, the centrifuge is 0, and the item input is 0. Well, the item input is taking from the machine output over here, which is a 2, but it's a 0. Well, you don't necessarily have to have them as the same. You just have to have different numbers for each transaction, I guess might be the easiest way to look at it. So I'm taking an iron ore, I'm grinding the iron ore, and you're viewing the iron ore while it's being ground. That's all one number. And then I'm taking what is ground and I'm spitting it somewhere. That's a different number. Hopefully that makes sense. So with this, we've got the centrifuge, the item input, and the inventory interface. Those are all 0 because that's all one thing. And then we're outputting to machine output over here on the 1. And then the same basic thing with the furnace here. So this is supposed to be 6. So we're going to put our 6 in here. You're going to notice it's immediately grabbed. You can see up on top that has, and unfortunately it's flipped around. I don't know if there's a way for me to rotate that.
No.
Okay, so there's not. So unfortunately it's upside down. but you can at least see it. It kind of sucks. Now you can see that we put our 6 in there. They're grinding up and they're being passed over here to this machine. Now you can look over here. You can see that we've got some flames going. That means some processing is happening. Over here we've got the whatever comes through in this with the lime and the general is the grinding process. We've got that passed over here to the centrifuge, which is doing its thing. You can see the little lights are blinking and they're flashing. Right now we have a power problem. Let me fix our power problem real quick. Let's set you to item export. We'll kick you up to 10,000 real fast. Not sure why we're still having power issues. That's one of the issues that we need to fix real quick. That should solve the power problem. All right, now you can see everything is kind of stabilized. So now it goes into the centrifuge, then it goes into the cleaner, or the furnace to burn up, and then we should start seeing some copper ingots here on the left. Now, like I said, we put 6 in here. We should end up with somewhere around 20 to 24 when it's all said and done. And you can see right here, we've got, well, we had 10, now we're down to 9. So we're gonna let this do its thing real quick. I'm gonna run down here real fast and grab our the remainder of our quicklime. So the only real difficult aspect about this is just kind of learning how the machines pass, the different numbers that you need in the different sides and the different sockets, and it's a little confusing and it's a little hard to get your head around, at least initially. It's definitely a lot more complicated than, what do you call it, than thermal expansion. Now I'm not quite sure why this isn't, there should have been grinding. I guess this chunk unloads. Yeah. That's weird, man. Back here with the kiln, that's out of range of the front of the base. The chunk unloads back here.
You light the room, so you'll have to find a way to chunk load it.
Yeah, I'll have to get some kind of...
But I guess when you're in the boiler room, it will be loaded.
Yeah,
so...
the boiler room will probably load both of them. Are you up there at the front of the base?
I'm right now at the ME system almost.
Okay.
What?
Just hang out in that area for a moment. I'm on my way back. I want to make sure that the I want to make sure that the copper stuff stays on. Now we're going to be redoing.
Oh, that will stay on. I'm close enough.
We're going to be redoing these rooms here in the next couple days. And again, I do apologize for the low frame rate as we move through this room. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my computer. I think it's that hard drive. My birthday is on Monday, so we may have to do something about that. We'll see. All right, so we've still got 2 more here. That's down to 1. We've got 5 here. Let's see how we're holding up. We're up to 15 ingots from 6. 15 from 6. All right, let's put some more quicklime in here. I don't think there's anything in here to quicklime anyway. Looks like we're on our last little batch here. I'll let that continue to process out. Okay, that one's done. So it's a last little 6 things. We're up to 17. So 17 plus 6, that's what? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, roughly? 23, 24? Not too shabby. So this is kind of a different option for quadding ores. Obviously, you know, you can use smelteries or you can use thermal expansions, pulverizer, and furnace if you want to, you know, do your duplications. And those are obviously very, very easy. In all honesty, other than a couple recipes, I think there's one of these recipes does require 2 gas tiers. I think that's the centrifuge. That one's a bitch. But, you know, even gas tiers, I mean, you know, you can trade for them if you need to. You can go, you can get a jetpack and go fly around and whack some ghasts. It's not impossible. I think I would almost rather deal with gas tiers than ender pearls, but that might just be me and my sick obsession with another. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so we have 2 more, I believe, in here. We'll let this... Oh. And I think I just crashed out. That was weird. Yep, that's my internet connection. I lost connection to the portal. Anyways, it does look like that's going to give us, and I should be able to log on and stay connected long enough to show you guys. Hopefully OBH will work for me. Maybe not. Either way, we took
23 right now.
And you got 1 more to process, right?
Let's look at it.
This should be 1 more to process.
Yeah, it's processing it.
All right, so 6 became 24. That's quadding your ores.
4.
That's quadding your ores. So not too shabby. Not too shabby. So if you guys would like to set up your ore quadding process, this is how you do it. It is a little complicated with the different numbers and setting them with the remote sockets. There's
a Google video on it. Just Google processing ores, engineer's toolbox, and
I just did a whole video on it, numbnuts.
Yeah, but if people want to see how it was built originally.
Don't listen to Skeleton. Skeleton's retarded. My video's perfect. That's all you need. That's all you need. And one other thing I forgot to show you guys, to simply change the numbers, you just right-click up here, and you can cycle through the different interfaces. So that'll show you guys how to do that. Anyways, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.